Hey everyone, welcome back to the Chessyard. This is Dhairya Bagga, and I'll be playing the 5 minute blitz today on Lee Chess. So yeah, let's get started and see how it goes. Got the white pieces here, so queen pawn opening d4, followed by knight f3, developing the knight, and then the dark square bishop to f4. I want to play e3 here, then develop the other bishop as well, light square bishop d3, and then pawn c3, making sure the pawn structure is solid. I don't want to take the pawn over here. If he takes, I'm okay. He cannot cross for sure. So I'll develop the knight. He takes. Now I have a couple of options to take. Uh, I'm okay opening up the C file. Now here I can get my rook on the empty C file. That's always good. And I can castle quickly. Development moves are done. Now I have to think for an attack or hold on. Queen to C2 here. I can go for queen exchange, which he sees and tries to stop. I'll take on the queen. It's not safe if I move the queen to the b3 here because he can then develop the bishop. I can exchange the rooks and get my queen up. The idea would be to get the rook later on in the game to the c file again, but I have to get some safety here first. So knight makes serious sense here. Knight to b3, and then rook c8, c1 here, threatening attacking the queen. Yeah, let's proceed with the plan since he's not proceeding ahead with that. Attacking the queen now. And since he moves his queen now, we can attack on. Oh, he saves it. And now he's attacking on a couple of pieces on my rook knight. We'll try to exchange the knight and the bishop. The idea being my bishop is not being used here, and it's eyeing the queen side diagonal, which is already opened up. There's nothing much the bishop is doing in the game, so I'll rather take away the knight from the game, which can be a good attacker on my king side from my opponent. Would take it. How good is e4 here? Of course, he cannot take. I have two defenders. I can move this in future to e5 as well. Breaking up the e file would be bad for me because queen is hanging in front of the rook. The queen is actually babysitting the pawn on a6 for now. In order to get some attack, I need to get my rook. Oh, he is trying to exchange the rooks here. which is okay for me, I guess. He takes, and now I can push the pawn forward to e5. The last rank is obviously predicted with the knight, so we don't have to worry about that. I'll take on with the pawn or the knight. Should take with the pawn because now I don't have an isolated pawn. It would have been isolated on the d file otherwise, as there's no supporting pawn to it. I should first move a very simple move here, h3, trying to make sure there is no last rank weakness happening. I need to use one of my pieces here and attack, create some extra pressure on the a pawn for time being, which he okay. Now I can go for bishop exchange. That looks fine to me because yes, I'm attacking the diagonal, but his bishop is also very dangerous for my king side. So I'll exchange the bishops. The game is fair open. I've got two knights. He has got one bishop and one knight. I somehow prefer two knights over having a separate different piece. Knight can come. Moving this knight creates some threat on the last rank, but after I save, he can capture on the pawn. Then he can attack the center pawn as well, so I don't want to move that. Here, I can move the other knight then to find some knight move. Knight isn't doing much in the game. Okay, let's see. Connecting the knights. I can push the f pawn forward. It safeguards everything for the time being. I can give him a check from the last rank whenever I it's he's trying to pin my knight, so I'll first move away my king. Now the knight can hop in on the c6, attacking the bishop, or I can first give him a check, and then I can capture on the pawn. If he captures, I got two knights and the open a file. I have two pawns over there, so that should be winning. He takes my pawn, I take back the other pawn. He's attacking the pawn, so I have to save it. Simple. And then I have to move the knight. Knight isn't doing much there, so okay, I can exchange the knight as well. And then I take my king over the queen side and promote one of these pawns to a queen. Threatening bishop. Gives a check. Losing on time. Attacking the bishop makes sense. Oh, he has given the bishop. Thinking what? He cannot. He cannot promote. And I'm coming with my king, taking on his knight, and he resigns. So yeah, a good game. Ended in my favor. Let's see the analysis board once. Completely winning for white. I just check the computer analysis as well. So the game started with her. He played the Indian game, converted into London system because I have developed the bishop first and created a solid structure in the center. He tries to move c5. Again, opening up the c file early, I believe. Here I develop the knight. Computer is suggesting to move knight on h5. He should have attacked the bishop instead. And computer saying that's an inaccuracy. We take back. White is in control. 1.6. After the casting is zero point 0.4, zero point 0.8 in the favor of white. And this was not required. I had to then retrieve, so that's a bad move. Moving up pieces multiple times. I couldn't find the right moves from there. But here, my plan started of attacking his pieces. Then I went for the exchange of knight. The game is pretty much neutral throughout. If we see the computer analysis as well, it was, yep, slightly in favor of black, slightly in favor of white in the beginning, and then white was cruising throughout. Average centi loss of 22, which is again nice. One mistake and four inaccuracies. I'm not very much okay with the mistake, but yeah, inaccuracies are okay and we can live with. And here I moved pawn e4. He responds with rook on c8. I capture. The game is slightly in favor of black here, if you can see 1.2, 0.7. Just trying to make sure that there's no last rank weakness by moving the h3 and then exchanging the bishops. The game is again zero point 0.3 because material wise we were both uh, equal here. And then I got my inactive knight to an active square, trying to create some attack on his side of the board. And then pawn f4, which computer says is not that great, but I felt like I should support my center pawn this way. And here he moves queen to b6. So I removed the pin first, and that was a bad move. That's what changed the game actually. He moved a5, and he didn't see the threat that I can give a check first. So I gave a check and then captured the a5. That created some weakness. He exchanged the queen. He should never have done that. The idea is if he captures, I've got two pawns, the knight attacking the other pawn as well. So these two pawns can very quickly promote into queen, and there's nothing that can stop them. Yeah, there's one bishop and knight, but even I have got two knights after that. So the game was pretty much over. As soon as he captured on the a5 here, then he captures my pawn, and I take his other pawn. Here again, he's threatening a couple of pawns, and only way I could have saved both was probably this. Yeah, which I didn't see. I actually, when I was playing, I just saw the pawn on b file being attacked because my idea was that a and b pawns should be safe throughout the game. I have to promote them. So a bad move here. He captures the center pawn, but still I am ahead in the game. 1.1, 1.4. Here he gives a check. I move towards the center. Again, that was an inaccuracy from him. I'm now threatening the bishop as well as the pawn, which he missed. Even if he doesn't, I'm still 2.1 points ahead in the game, and it's easy continuation to win from here. Just move the a pawn forward and yeah, promote it to queen. Also, one more thing here, the bishop is protecting the dark squares. So generally, you will see that the b pawn will not get promoted. He can obviously sack away his bishop. So always try to convert the pawn which is opposite of the color. The end square is opposite of the color of the bishop of the opponent. So that here, if I suppose get somehow my b pawn on the eighth rank, he can take with the bishop. But if I get my a pawn on the eighth rank, he cannot take with the bishop. And there are two knights in the game, so I can of course exchange one of the knights. That was the plan. Even the bishop and knight exchange was okay, but he made a mistake here. He gave away his bishop, and then he started thinking that he can promote the pawn here, which was never the case. Then I started moving my king. He tries to save the pawn but loses on the knight and then resigns. So yeah, a good game. As I said, was very much in control throughout. 1.2 in favor of black is all it went at max, and then complete advantage to white throughout. And as I said, these A and B pawns were very much uh, venomous, as I can say. So these were going to be promoted for sure. I hope you like the game. Please do let me know your feedback and keep watching and sharing. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.